Okay, another one of the questions was about my love of nature, my love of Gertie, and really all things nature, and who introduced me to it. And I would have to say that my dad was a huge influence on my love of nature. The way I grew up was such that we had to do a lot of hunting and berry picking and growing. And if we didn't grow it, hunt it, pick it, or can it, you rarely ever saw it on our dinner table. And so that meant a lot of time out in nature, gathering firewood all spring and all fall, every single weekend. Sometimes there was snow on the ground, sometimes it was pouring down rain. It didn't matter. We had to be out there and we had to be getting firewood, otherwise we would freeze our asses off all winter long. So the minute the truck would stop, I'd be out the back end, because back then you were allowed to ride in the bed of the truck without, you know, everybody freaking out on you. And I was out of there. As long as we were within earshot of the chainsaw, so that we could make it back when they called us to load the truck with the wood that they had cut, my brother and I were allowed to go anywhere we wanted out in the woods. And my first order of business was to ditch him and get as far away from all of them as possible and just explore stuff. I've always loved to do that. So when I was old enough to hunt, and actually before I was old enough to hunt, I used to go with my dad all the time. And I loved it because you had to be so quiet out there. And that's really how I enjoy nature the most, is quiet. I don't like to hear machinery. I don't like to hear automotive engines of any kind. I don't like to hear voices. I just want to hear this. Can you hear this? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear those bugs. I want to hear the birds. I want to hear the frogs. I want to hear the turtles breathing. I don't want to hear anything else. And to this day, when things get too noisy for me, especially at home, too many people talking too loud, the TV's on, the radio's on, the video games are on, all of this stuff, and just people, you know, what time is it, Mom? What's for dinner, Mom? When's dinner going to be ready? Are we having that? Did you cook that right? Or, you know, what'd you put in here? It just goes, it drives me nuts, it makes me crazy, and I have to have the peace and quiet. And the minute I get out here, I can feel my whole demeanor change. Everything about me. I relax. I relax completely. I don't know, probably sounds really corny to a lot of people. Oh, there was a turtle. Awesome. Probably sounds really corny to a lot of people, but it's just the way I am. I have to have it. Which is probably why I go a little nuts in the winter, because it gets so cold. And I hibernate in the winter. I'm like a bear. I hibernate in the winter. I do not come out. And I don't enjoy being cold, and so there you have it. I've got to be out here. That's all there is to it.